where Pauline Parmentier, serving, is taking on Marion Bartoli. So it's Parmentier, the front of the screen, just practicing her serve, and Bartoli, the number 13 seed, most unorthodox player, and I'm joined by Lucy Ahl, and done amazingly well, Marion Bartoli. When you watch her play, you don't think that she'd be quite as effective as she is.
No, I mean, double-handed both sides. I think she's modelled her game on Monica Seles, and she plays with such weight of shot, but obviously limitations for being double-handed, lack of reach, and maybe struggling on some of the high balls, but it doesn't let her affect her. I mean, final of Wimbledon a couple of years ago, and you have to say she really has had a fantastic career.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because in an era where the girls are getting more athletic, taller, bigger, faster, and Marion Bartoli, when you watch her play, I mean, she struggles for outright pace, but as you say, the weight of shot and the way that she controls the court, she's very accurate, makes her a most difficult opponent.
No, I think that's the thing. Her movement isn't her biggest strength, but she likes to position herself on the baseline, so she's looking to take it early, and that's where she's able to take time away from her opponent.
A little bit idiosyncratic too, Marion Bartoli's got a few odd habits prior to serving and returning at times, and her father has spent a lot of time working on a game, and I believe he's a little idiosyncratic too. Bit of an odd combination.
Yeah, Dr. Walter, her father, travels with Marion Bartoli everywhere, and he seems to pick up on little quirky things, and he sort of keeps adding and taking away, particularly on the serve. We've seen different stances and different actions with the serve. Not quite sure whether it makes a huge difference.
Well, the hit never changes, does it?
No.
I was always amused at Michael Chang. He was forever changing the start of his serve, but the actual hit remained the same. It's just the affectation that you go through prior to getting into that throwing position. So time has been called. The girls will just go in for a final sip. And what do we know about Pauline Parmentier? Of course, another French girl, and I don't think she'd be overawed by the occasion. She'd have her support crew here and would be immensely looking forward to the opportunity, I'm sure, of upsetting a seed.
I mean, I think so. I mean, it's a great opportunity for her to be out here on this court. I'm sure it's something that she's dreamed of, to be out there, but I know she's been struggling this year with injury and illness, and following her results, she's had 6 first-round losses at tour level. I know she played a challenger in Marseille where that was her first match she's won for quite a few weeks, so confidence isn't going to be high. She's going to want to get a good start out here today, particularly get herself on the scoreboard early on. She's not going to want to go through the same that the Brit Anne Keothavon did against Safina earlier today, losing 6-love, 6-love. But I guess the fact she's playing another French woman, she's going to know her game. She's going to tactically be looking to try and make Bartoli move, get her off the baseline. I know Parmentier's strengths are her serve and forehand, so we're having a look to see how well she's playing those shots.
Yeah, I think the thing when you're playing Bartoli, it's not so much about how hard you hit the ball, because Bartoli feeds off the pace, it's where you hit it. You've got to really strive for some accuracy to get it out of her hitting zone and not let Bartoli dictate proceedings. So all is in readiness, and here's Bartoli about to serve. Well, this is another incarnation, isn't it, of the start of the serve.
Yeah, this is one of the new stances.
Last year around this time it was feet together.
That's right.
15-30.
Did look pretty close. What do you reckon, Wally?
No, that was long.
You're right.
Worth a question. That is the central chair umpire, Arnaud Gabas, Frenchman.
40-30.
I'm always worried when I see somebody get in such a contrived position to start what should be a very natural action.
Jeu. Mademoiselle Bartoli.
So just showing us her lack of confidence in the opening game. Pauline Parmentier, a string of errors.
Premier jeu.
Bartoli hangs on.
It doesn't look the most comfortable stance that she's taking to start the serve.
If you look at Roger Federer, we just saw him play out here. When he's about to serve, you get the feeling you could push him over with your little finger. There's no tension in his body whatsoever. It's the most relaxed, natural-looking motion you'll ever see. Perfect throwing motion.
Pauline Parmentier.
In contrast, we saw Marion Bartoli there almost going through some contortions to get herself in the position to start that service motion. It has to be said that well, it's been a long time since we've had a French winner of the French Open, Yannick Noah, going all the way back into the early 80s, but the French players don't find their best tennis here. The pressure, the hometown pressure, I don't know what it is, but they really do struggle.
30-0.
I mean, the men did pretty well last year. I think there was maybe like about 6 in the last 16, but it's going on that little bit further. As you say, lifting the title seems to be a problem. Certainly was for Amelie Mauresmo last night.
And you saw on the previous point, Parmentier got a free point off a serve, and there it was the big serve followed by a big forehand, and you would suggest that if that pattern can be repeated, it really is the key to her success, the quality of the first serve backed up by a big forehand.
Mademoiselle Parmentier. Un jeu partout.
Look at that looks so awkward. And the irony of it is, by the time you actually go to hit the ball, you're in the same position anyway. You've brought your back foot up to hit the front foot. Your feet are sort of virtually pointed at the net post, and away you go. So why go through this whole routine of putting yourself in that unnatural position? We'll have to ask Dad. He's the brains behind the outfit.
Trente-quinze. Quarante-quinze.
Slightly going for too much there on the forehand. Difficult getting that balance. She knows she's got to be looking to attack when she can.
Jeu. Mademoiselle Bartoli. Mademoiselle Bartoli mène 2-1.
So Bartoli, a couple of good first serves. Dealing with the return comfortably. She leads 2-1 on serve here in the first set. Let's take an opportunity to... So everything going according to plan. Both girls holding serves. Bit of a settling in period. Sometimes when you play a countryman or a countrywoman, there can be just that little bit of added tension.
Place rapidement, s'il vous plaît, merci.
And Lucy, you'd have to think that for Parmentier, the way to use that forehand is not so much to try to hit through the court, but to use that area where the service line meets the sideline. Try to create a bit of angle.
Yeah, I mean, definitely against Bartoli, if you can get her to move and have to stretch out of her comfort zone, she's unable to get the pace, get the weight of shot that she is when she's got her body right behind it. Great play there from Bartoli.
0-15.
Good approach. It's a good shot from Parmentier down at the feet of Bartoli, but great hand skills, and then read the volley. Able to go back behind her opponent. Taking the pace off there with that last shot.
Remise, remise.
Just looking at the serve of Parmentier, it's a nice motion. She needs to take a leaf out of the book of Sam Stosur. It looks like she could really kick that ball. And if she, watched the way a lot of the men approach the first serve, it's more a three-quarter kicker. That's a view of the, that's Arnaud Birch, I believe, doing a bit of commentary for the host broadcaster up high in the stands. But try to get that ball to kick away. At the moment she's serving like a hard court, serving down through the court, trying to blow it by her opponent. It's probably not going to work.
Out. 15-30.
No, that kick serve, it's a serve that a lot of the girls struggle to use.
Nicolas Escudé on the left there. Sonny's on top of his head, along with Le Coteau, both former French players. Le Coteau, of course, spent a lot of years coaching Emilie Mauresmo. Escudé, a very handy player.
Big hitting there from Bartoli.
15-40.
The father, Walter.
You notice too, Marion looks towards him a lot when she plays after points, win or lose. She's always trying to sneak a glance at Dad. See, that was a nice shot there. She actually just looped that ball up high, got the ball out of the strike zone, up above Bartoli's shoulder. And just looking at Parmentier, you think that she's actually got the opportunity to play a bit like a man in that respect. She can really loop that forehand and got the ability to hit a kick serve. Not that she's really done it yet, but it looks like she could.
Well, the kick serve certainly seems to be coming into the women's game. Some of the players are starting to use it. Trouble is, if you get the kick wrong, it sits right up there. Girls love to hit the return.
Yeah, the accuracy of it is paramount, and you've got to hit your spot so well. Pretty good 1-2 punch once again from Parmentier, so just showing a little bit of belief there. 2 games all. I think it's interesting, you know, and there's Mats Wilander. Works for Eurosport.
I think we're going to get on in a minute.
I would say, Lucy, they'll save us for last. They'll go through all the minor broadcasters and come to us eventually. That'd be Heinz Guntard. Pretty handy player, won a Wimbledon doubles title with Ballas Tarocci. Coach Steffi Graf, the most successful part of her career.
30-0.
She's here with Swiss television. Huge interest, of course, with Federer attempting to win the French Open. That's ferocious hitting from Bartoli, isn't it? Not holding back.
No, she certainly can produce pace when she's taking it early. That ball really did move off the court. Just over pressing there, Bartoli. Slight opportunity here for Parmentier.
And premier service.
Well, she takes a pretty good cut at the forehand, and second occasion there, caught the top leading edge, smacked the ball into the crowd.
Second service. 40.
It's all part of the routine. Bartoli, a little hop, skip and a jump. See, a lot of the girls do that. I think that's Sharapova inspired as they're waiting to get the balls to serve.
Again, Parmentier just missed timing a couple of the forehands. I guess because of the pace the ball's coming at her, it's difficult for her to generate the racket head speed she needs for her grip, but she got away with it. Good running there from both girls, using whole of the court, taking their opponent back and wide. Is that a little added
I would save
bit of a routine?
Yeah, I would save that for the point when the ball's actually in play. I wouldn't be too stressed in between points. Just relax.
Second service. Avantage, Mademoiselle Parmentier.
He's starting to make a lot of unforced errors, Bartoli. Second chance here for Parmentier to get a break.
Well, we've spoken about the heat and the fact that the court is hard. It's baked very dry today, and I think there's a bit more height in the bounce, and Bartoli would probably prefer the ball more around chest height. It's getting up above her shoulders, not as comfortable.
Mademoiselle Parmentier.
Couple of mishits once again from Parmentier, but Bartoli unable to put the ball away. And a break of serve. Parmentier leads 3-2. And this is Marion Bartoli. Super slow motion. And she uses a super long racket too, doesn't she? Gives her that little bit of extra reach, the fact that she's got two hands on the racket. She needs to have that reach, and there are rules in place, obviously, regarding the length of a racket, but Bartoli certainly uses the longest permissible.
I'm not sure how many players do use longer length rackets, but hers certainly is a fair bit bigger than her opponents.
No, I guess it makes sense, doesn't it? She loses reach on both sides.
No, it's important for her to have that extra length.
Parmentier serving, she leads 3-2. And I would love to see her just take a bit of pace off her first serve. She's serving up around 190. Just take a little pace off the serve, add a bit more spin, a bit more height over the net, and get that jump up off the court. That's what's troubling Bartoli. So that's a reasonable second serve. It's 136 Ks. If she could serve her first serve around 150, 160 with real genuine spin and hit her spots, I think it'd be far more advantageous for her than trying to blast through Bartoli with big flatter first serves.
Premier service.
I think if, as you say, if she can use the kick or the slice, can get it right out of the hitting zone of Bartoli.
Well, there's a case in point. There's 2 second serves, and that's pretty good. 147 kilometres an hour with spin. I mean, that, and it was deep. I mean, that really is the way forward for her, I believe, in terms of her serve. And to even gather a bit more accuracy with it would be of a huge advantage. Then maybe when you're up 30 love or 40 love, then try to pop the big first serve and maybe get an outright ace or a cheap point.
So many errors from Bartoli.
Well, she's not holding back, is she? She's not trying to play away into this match. She's just continuing to blaze away.
That's kind of how she plays. Plays one way, take it early, hit it as flat and hard as she can.
That's a big serve. That's 185 Ks out wide. Impressive pace from Parmentier. Once again, can't deal with the height of bounce off the second serve.
Parmentier's team there.
You've got to have a team these days, don't you?
It is a team. It's all about the team.
It's a good start. You mentioned that she hasn't had a happy season, Pauline Parmentier, but finding her feet out here on Chatrier, leading 4-2.
Big return there from Parmentier. Took the opportunity. Not enough on that serve.
She's breathing pretty heavily, Parmentier, after that rally. Took a while getting herself ready, and she's still feeling the effects. She looks fit.
Yeah, she did a fair amount of running, I guess. She was pushed behind the baseline.
Trente.
19 unforced errors from Bartoli so far in this match. It's a fair few. They've just played 6.5 games.
Mademoiselle Bartoli. Changement de
Holds
base,
under a
super
serve,
master,
but she's
Panel.
still down a break. Bartoli
C'est
trails
Parmentier,
3-4 here in this
4-2.
first set. Prize 2 games from Panetta. She's normally so consistent.
Oh, particularly on the clay courts. I mean, Glatch obviously played well, but possibly something wasn't going too well for Panetta, or possibly an injury, I'm not sure.
Good look there at the forehand of Parmentier. Extreme grip. Pretty severe wind-up. Good rotation. It's a good forehand. Bartoli going through a whole range of movements. You can't see her in shot, but she just played a point, within a point there, waiting for this next return. And there it is, the height of the bounce. I don't think she likes it, Bartoli, getting up. Because she doesn't hit with any spin, and she cannot control the ball up above shoulder height.
No, it's tough there for being double-handed both sides. She likes to take it early, and if it's kicking up at her, it's going to be the cause of the errors.
Gee, I'm just looking at this first serve of Parmentier, and it's pretty much straight. It's a good serve. I mean, it's got plenty of pace, genuine pace, but the positioning of it is terrible. She could use this serve so much more effectively. Just, as I said, needs to take a leaf out of Sam Stosur's book. She's getting a lot of reward for her spin, Parmentier, off that forehand today. That couple of shots there, at least 2 feet above the head of Bartoli.
No, she is able to get that ball to move. It's pretty unusual in the women's game. Most of the players like to play the ball pretty flat. With the extreme grip, she's able to generate a lot of racket head speed and really get the ball kicking up at her opponent.
But it's interesting. I think Parmentier needs to get a video of a few of the Spanish and Argentinian men players and just see how they work that first serve and then use their forehand and play to those patterns, because I think she's got the ability to do it.
No, I think you're probably right, Wally. You need to get in there, have a word.
So every serve, it's almost like she's trying to body serve every time, but she's got this ability to hit a nice kicking serve out wide and open the court up. Well,
Mademoiselle Parmentier.
she persists, Bartoli, in just trying to hit these outright winners, and it's not happening for her. The errors are mounting. 21 errors.
Mademoiselle Parmentier mène
8 games of tennis. That's really not good enough at this level, is it?
No, I mean, particularly after the fact that we've only played to get that ball to move, dropping the racket underneath the ball.
That's a quality forehand. And the pressure mounts on Bartoli. She can't get the free points that she wants. As you mentioned, when the ball is in play, Parmentier is very comfortable. She's really dictating. So now 3 set points. There's another upset on the cards.
Jeu, première manche.
Once again, it's the big forehand
Mademoiselle Parmentier.
doing the damage for Parmentier, so a good first set. Bartoli is in trouble.
6 jeux à 3.
Surprised, Lucy?
Yeah, pretty surprised at that. But then if you look at the stats, that's 22 unforced errors from Marion Bartoli and just 2 winners. That doesn't add up, does it, Wally?
No, well, the scoreboard tells a story, doesn't it? 6-3. Parmentier pretty comfortable in the end. And I think we've got some men's results here. We're all about equal opportunity. Let's see how the boys have gone around the grounds. Christoph Fliegen going down to Rui Machado, who I can't say I know too much about. Another 5-setter. 6-3 in the fifth. Janko Tipsarevic, extremely talented player from Serbia. He won 6-4 in the fourth over Albert Montanez. And Jose Acasuso, one of the biggest hitters in the game. A little inconsistent at times, but found some form to get through to the second round over Santiago Ventura. Another Spaniard. And the final result that we've got for you here, Diego Junquera. I hope I said that correctly. Pronunciation never the best. He won in 4 over Paul Capdeville from Chile, advancing to the second round. So the men's draw, like the women, a lot of new names, a lot of new faces, qualifiers that we haven't seen before making their mark. It's always changing. And you just have to wonder, Lucy, what does Bartoli do different? You mentioned that she really only has plan A, and that's to hit hard, harder and hardest. Where does she go from here?
No, I mean, it's going to be difficult for her. I mean, she's clearly not liking the ball kicking up at her. A little bit of the effect of the court and the conditions, but also the fact that Parmentier is able to really get that ball to move, shoot up off the floor, and Bartoli's, her timing is just not there. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see Parmentier. Does she believe that she can beat Bartoli, the 13th seed?
She should.
At the moment, she certainly should. She has, you know, giving her credit, she has played a great first set.
You mentioned Bartoli, she likes to just crack the ball and she hits it as hard as she can. And, you know, I think it's a little bit... She does that because she knows that she can't scramble for too long at the back of the court, so she tries to take all her opportunities. And it's not as though she's going to start playing defensively and try to outlast Parmentier.
No, definitely. I mean, obviously, because of being double-handed both sides, there is lack of reach, but there's also the fact that movement-wise, once you can get her off the court, she struggles to get back in. She does like to be controlling the point from the middle of the court. In there, didn't read the forehand at all. Another big forehand from Parmentier.
Premier service. Premier service.
190 Ks, that's a big first serve, but she directs all these first serves straight down the corridor, the centre of the service box. Most unusual.
It's premier service.
I guess that can happen at times when you've got a grip like that.
30-40.
Well, as a coach, this is the very moment in the match where you'd really be urging your charge to knuckle down and play tough. Just 5 or 10 minutes at the start of the second set after having done so well in the first. This is not when you want to lapse in concentration. And that's exactly what we've seen.
Mademoiselle Bartoli.
3 unforced errors, unfortunately, for Parmentier. Just concedes a break early in the second.
Now she's got to be disappointed there, Parmentier. Missing those 2 forehands and then the error with the backhand.
You know, I think the routines that you have in between points are quite important in that respect. And you look at Nadal as the benchmark. I mean, he's so methodical between points. But I think what that does, it gives you a rhythm and a pace to play at. I thought Parmentier was very quick in that game. She was extremely quick between points. At one stage, just have a look at the stats there, but at one stage she could barely get a hold of the ball to bounce it. She seemed to be in a hurry to go somewhere and paid a price. But it's the unforced errors, isn't it, from Bartoli? 22 unforced errors and only 3 winners from Marion. I mean, that really tells a story.
No, I mean, going back to the routines, we see the players, particularly the top players, you see how they go through their different routines, and it just gets you set. It gets you set up for the point. You finish the last point and get yourself ready for the next point. And if you don't have that, you can't judge whether you're rushing or not sometimes.
A little bit more patience there from Bartoli off her backhand wing, content to go cross court. Nothing too adventurous.
Good play there from Parmentier. Changing the rhythm, use of the slice. Forcing her opponent to come back under the ball, but that shot not deep enough from Bartoli. There again, that big forehand right up the line.
What? 30.
Opportunity here to break straight back, courtesy of an unforced error from Bartoli.
Garros.
Were you counting there, Wally? That was a big rally.
was pretty cleanly struck too from both players.
Avantage.
Bartoli just unable to get through her opponent. Parmentier hanging in the point, quite comfortable with the pace that she's getting thrown at her, and eventually forced the error from her opponent.
Égalité. Avantage, Mademoiselle Bartoli.
Good accurate serving from Bartoli. Clearly not happy with how she's playing. This game could make a difference though.
Jeu. Mademoiselle Bartoli.
So after a struggle,
Mademoiselle Bartoli mène
Bartoli
2-0.
confirms the break now, leading 2-love, second set. Dad looks just that little bit happier, although he's always got a bit of a nervous disposition.
I remember when I first saw Bartoli many years ago, she used to position herself. I mean, she still positions herself pretty far up the court on the return, but she was pretty much, I would say, no more than a metre behind the service line. She used to stand there and just try and take it as early as possible. Obviously had to back off now. This was down at challenger level.
It's sort of interesting for me, and I keep sort of harping on about the fact that Parmentier, she's big, she's strong, athletic, and she's got these extreme grips. She's got the heavy forehand, hits it like a man, low to high, a lot of spin, a lot of racket head speed. But she doesn't play to the patterns that the clay court men play to.
No, I think you're exactly right there. A lot more work that can be done with the serve. She just seems to try and go for pace rather than actual movement, and I think that's how the women's games is going to move a little bit more forward, is starting to use more width. If you've got the ability to get your opponent off the court at the start of the point, it puts you in a great opportunity.
Well, she's lost away here in the second set, Parmentier. That lapse in concentration in the first game. And as you might expect, Bartoli, 13th seed, she's elevated her game. But yeah, if you were the coach of Parmentier, you'd say, right, over the next few months we're working on a heavy slice serve out wide and a heavy kick out wide on the back end. Just set up that 1-2 punch to allow her to use that forehand. Like that. That should be her whole game, trying to manufacture a series of shots to get that forehand.
15-40.
I mean, that is a big forehand. Now that wasn't a slice serve, but can you imagine if she could really cut that serve out wide? I mean, as it was, she got the ball she wanted. She got the forehand.
No, and if she did use the slice, I mean, she can throw in that flat serve on occasion, but I think her bread and butter, you're right, Wally, should be use of the slice and the kick serve. I mean, certainly against an opponent who lacks the reach, being double-handed both sides.
Well, Bartoli Starting to stamp her authority on this second set. Double break now. She leads 3-love, having lost the first. Now, let's whip back out to Susan Longlon, where we saw Andy Roddick win the first set. He's playing Romain Jouan, French wildcard, and Roddick now set point. And just a nice heavy three-quarter first serve, which is what we're rabbiting on about with Pauline Parmentier, what we'd like to see a bit more from her. So Roddick travelling nicely, just finding a bit of form on the clay. Good to see. Perennial top 10 player. Better known for his efforts at Wimbledon and the US Open. Very nice to see him win a few matches here. And Feliciano Lopez. He was in all sorts of trouble. Down 2-0. Got out of the third in a tie-break. And with that cannon of a left serve, levels it all, 2 sets all. And we made the comment that he looked a bit weary at the end of the third, but it's amazing what winning a set can do for your energy levels. So another 5-set match. Now let's head back to Chatrier, where Pauline Parmentier has just lost her way a little bit.
No, not a good start in this second set for Parmentier, and that first game was key. Finished it off with 3 unforced errors to get broken. Obviously had points to break back, but trailing love 3, not a good position for her.
Down to 0.
It's better serving from Bartoli, and when she gets that short return, she's able to control and dictate the point.
Down 0.
Once again, drawing the error when she flipped the ball up high. Got a bit of height off the bounce.
Really is fantastic running from Parmentier. She was under pressure throughout this point. Just kept moving, read the play well here, went early, knew her opponent was going to go cross court, and was able to put this forehand down into the space.
Down.
Well, it was almost there. That ball came straight at her, and we've talked about how long the racket that she uses is. And she got herself a little tangled there. Bartoli looked a relatively simple shot.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Parmentier.
He was in full control of this game, Bartoli. Since that long rally that Parmentier won. Turned right round, and a break back now would be just what Parmentier needs.
Égalité.
That's what I like to see. I like to see her running around and using that forehand. Making that extra effort. I mean, we see the men do it so often.
She's got the ability to do it. She's fit and strong enough. She really does move well, Parmentier.
Yeah, she's a good athlete, isn't she? That point in this game completely illustrated that, where she was on the defensive and came up with a clean winner. But see, that is strange. 2 break points, 2 errors. And, you know, to be a good tennis player, you don't have to be an intellectual, but you've got to have a bit of rat cunning. You've got to recognise moments and what needs to happen in those moments. You've got to be desperate to get that ball back into play. Keep the pressure on at any cost.
Just lost her footing here, Bartoli. Opponent going back behind. Such a good play on clay. There again, that forehand.
Once again, the forehand doing the damage. So 1 break for the good. Still trails 1-3. Parmentier here in the second set. So it's interesting watching her play on clay, and I have seen her play on grass at Wimbledon last year, Parmentier, where she did struggle a bit with those extreme grips, but you just get the feeling there's a lot more that she could really explore in terms of having a really quality clay court game.
I think not only on clay but on hard courts as well.
Yeah, definitely the slower hard courts.
There, Bartoli unable to read that forehand.
You know, Carlos Moya in the men's game, he made $1 trillion out of having a big, heavy kick serve, 3/4 out wide, extremely accurate, and then he just line up with that forehand and hit a lot of off forehands until such time as he had enough open court to kind of expose his opponent and go for a winner. And he covered up an adequate backhand, and he was very determined on the big points. But his patterns were so methodical, but he sort of perfected them, and he became an awesome player over a lot of years. Pauline needs to hire Carlos as a coach. Any one of those Spanish players, and just get some patterns to her play that she's got that are winning a lot of points out here. Just tidy a couple of things up.
Break points for Bartoli. Both girls had a lot of break points so far in this match.
Mademoiselle Bartoli.
So, a string of breaks here in the second set. Bartoli now leading 4-1, having dropped the first. Earlier we caught up with number 19 seed, Thomas Berdych. He was in trouble against Simone Bolelli, the Italian, very talented Italian, out on court 7. He was down 2 sets to love. Got the third, and much like Feliciano Lopez in a similar situation, now has a set point to go 2 sets all. Where is Berdych? He's out of screen. He's back in screen. And he's done it. So another 5-setter in the men's. We've seen a lot of competitive matches over the last 2 days in the first round. Not an easy thing to do, to come back from 2 sets love down. Huge effort and concentration required, but Berdych giving himself a chance. Well, Lucy, it's almost like the unforced errors situation has been reversed here in the second set. Bartoli tightening the screws and Parmentier a little wild.
No, she's certainly starting to make a lot more unforced errors, Parmentier. Having worked so hard to break Bartoli's serve, she's going to be disappointed she was unable to back it up by holding her own. So Bartoli back in charge of this set. I have to say, she, well, at the moment, isn't going to be particularly pleased with her performance. A lot of unforced errors. It's going to be interesting to see whether she can carry this momentum forward, start to get a bit better rhythm. This is nicely done by Bartoli. We mentioned that she likes to sort of dictate from the centre of the court there, but in a bit of trouble here, and that's just good skill coming around the side of the ball. Perfect contact, just working the wrists up and around the ball. I thought she could have had a bit of a play on that shot, Bartoli. Just seemed to pull up.
30-15.
You could see there, just looking towards her father after a well-constructed point. Looking for a bit of affirmation, Marion Bartoli.
Starting to find the angles now, Bartoli. It is a strength of hers when she's able to get behind the ball. Good racket head speed here.
Jeu. Mademoiselle Bartoli.
This is a classic case for me of you've got two players here. One player is a bit athletically challenged, and she has used everything that she's got to create a game that makes sense. And she's gotten herself to 13 in the world, a Wimbledon final. You've got the other end of the court. You've got obviously a player with a lot of natural ability and very athletic, who's just hitting tennis balls, not really thinking about what she's trying to achieve out here. The patterns in her game are not evident. If you could marry the two, you'd have quite a player.
You certainly would. Possible #1 player.
0-15.
I think it's certainly an area Parmentier needs to have a look at. Obviously got herself in the top 100 in the world, but I think she's got the ability with that forehand, and as you say, Wally, the ability that the serve could be improved to go a lot higher.
15.
I read a quote from Vince Lombardi, a legendary American football trainer, and he said that sporting genius was just perfecting the simple. And you've got to do the little things well time and time again, and the little things in tennis are finding a first serve with great accuracy and being able to do it over and over again. So even though your opponent knows where you're going, your placement is so good, it still opens up the court. Nicely done. No question about it. Bartoli has started to find her rhythm, striking the ball very cleanly. The latter stages of this second set, controlling the points. 2 set points. Well, indicative of the way that she's played this set, Pauline Parmentier. Similar first service game, lost away, and Bartoli steadies the ship, 1 set all. Now, we in the upset earlier today, Flavia Pennetta, the number 14 seed and one of the most consistent players on the women's tour, and a good clay courter, was up against Alexa Glatch, teenager from California, and it was a big upset, Lucy. Only a couple of games Flavia Pennetta got in this match. You can see the strapping on the thigh of Pennetta closest to camera. Maybe that had some impact, or maybe it's just the quality of play from Glatch. Don't know too much about her. Coming from California, you wouldn't imagine that she's particularly comfortable on the clay. The tall, athletic-looking girl.
Sorry, Vanetta doesn't seem to be moving. Obviously, that strapping is a hindrance. I'd say she was up there with some of the top clay quarters in the world.
Well, this is match point now, and if it was an injury, full marks to her for not retiring, for seeing it through. We see that a little bit too often, but what a win for Glatch, and she doesn't even seem that elated. It's almost like, well, business as usual. You can see a tall girl, obviously pretty powerful off that backhand wing, so a great win. Americans not noted for their clay court prowess. Now back on Chatrier, you'd have to favour Bartoli at this point, wouldn't you?
Well, you would do. That set was a poor set from Parmentier. It's going to be interesting now to see how both players start this third set. Key to start it well for Bartoli, keep the momentum going, and for Parmentier try and get rid of that second set and try and stay positive and start afresh.
So it'll be Bartoli to serve to open the third set. This next 5 or 10 minutes, the early stages of this set, absolutely key for Parmentier in particular. You get the feeling if she can't arrest the momentum, it could be a very quick set in Bartoli's favour. And we mentioned that Bartoli started to find some timing and some rhythm in that second set, and the good players, and she's the 13th seed here, once they do start to strike the ball well, they grow in confidence, and once they're hitting the ball well, then it's tough to dismantle their game. Arnaud Gabas, central chair umpire. A little slow, isn't he? Jog across the court there. I expect a bit of a speedier response.
Yeah, I don't think he was too happy he had to get out of the chair. It's only his second time. I guess it would be a bit frustrating if you can clearly see it's long. Big return from Parmentier. Serve didn't quite have enough on it.
Well, he's the slowest central chair umpire I've seen.
He's quite chilled out,
Most of
isn't
them bound down the stairs and sprint out. He needs to do a little bit of work in that area, Arno. Called wide.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Bartoli.
It's amazing how many errors we've seen long today, and obviously sitting up here it's a lot easier than being down there, but you have to think hot, dry air, it's quick, the ball's travelling through the air, and if you don't cover the ball it just takes off.
I mean, key points. This first game is such a big one, and both girls wasting opportunities.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Bartoli.
Just get the feeling Bartoli's a little tougher mentally, don't you? That she's a bit more determined to get a result here. And ultimately, that, even though she's not playing her best tennis, that might be what gets her through.
I think the fact that her opponent really hasn't won many matches this year, when it comes to closing it out, she's going to be not quite as confident as she would if she'd been winning more matches throughout the year.
Mademoiselle Bartoli.
So after a bit of a struggle, she was up 40 love in that game. Bartoli slipped back to juice. She hangs on. And you can see there the clenched fist as she's walking to her chair. It's a case, I think, where she desperately wants to keep the status quo, keep the younger, lesser ranked girl in a place. And she's played with a bit of tension, hasn't really had great timing, made a lot of errors, but you just get the feeling she's done enough to just shift the momentum in her favour.
And I know we're still early in this third set, but if Bartoli does come through this match, she's certainly going to need to up her game. See there, the switch with the unforced errors. That was a different story in that first set.
Dramatic change, isn't it? There was 22 unforced errors in the first set, 6 in the second for Bartoli. That's significant.
I think a lot of that could be down to the fact that Parmentier is making all the errors, not giving the opportunity to Bartoli. Still don't feel she's timing the ball like she would want to.
It's amazing, isn't it, that after she won that first set, that was like a punctuation mark. Everything changed from that moment on. She played a lousy game, the opening game of the second, and hasn't recovered. Well, therein lies the problem. She played a good point there, Parmentier, but now she's on song. Bartoli, she's timing the ball well.
It certainly was better rhythm there from Bartoli. Timing the ball much better, seems more comfortable in the longer rallies.
Finally, first one we've seen, a genuine swinging wide serve. She's so content or intent on just serving sort of up that centre corridor. Now, why doesn't she stand a little bit wider from the centre tee and give us a genuine kicker out wide and look for a forehand? Come on, Pauline, do it for us.
You happy with that one, Wally? Moved a little bit.
It was 176 Ks, but you have to say there was no width to the serve. You know, that's the problem. 176 K, hit at 150 with a bit of spin closer to the line, you're going to get a result. She could do a few things 5% better to make her a 20% better tennis player.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Bartoli.
Do we know that man? I don't.
I don't.
Is his face familiar?
Avantage, Mademoiselle Parmentier. Jeu, Mademoiselle Parmentier.
Big hold there for Parmentier. Such a key game.
Un jeu partout.
Again, break points for Bartoli that she let slip.
Broken string. Did well. Bit of a hustle from Parmentier. Broke the string on the return. Knew that the next forehand that she tried to hit with topspin would sail long, so wisely chipped and moved forward. Very popular frame on tour. The one that Parmentier is using. Same brand of racket that Nadal uses.
Looking a lot more positive and aggressive at the moment, Parmentier.
Well, she looks good when she tries to use this forehand. She's trying to construct points with the forehand. That's when she looks dangerous.
It's the sort of tennis she played in that first set.
And there's an indication, if you can just get that ball a little bit wider out of the hitting zone, it's a completely different proposition. So a nice little turnaround here from Parmentier. Looked like she was done and dusted, really struggling. Hung onto a serve in the previous game, jumped out to 3 break points now. Oh, how many times have we seen her do that?
I mean, you've got to make your opponent play. Make them work hard for the point. It's too quick, too cheap.
And Love 40 seems like he got a bit of a buffer, but she played that, as you called it, that cheap point, and now it's 1 good point from Bartoli, and all of a sudden you've squandered a couple of chances and the situation's a lot tighter. Crucial error there at Love 40. She makes amends. Some good scrambling there from Parmentier. Tough match to pick this one. A real seesawing battle. Girls having trouble holding serve. But it's Parmentier now leading 2-1, third set. Let's head back out to Suzanne Longlon. We have been keeping an eye on Andy Roddick. He's playing the French wild card, Romain Juan, and Roddick travelling nicely. Through in straight sets, just what he would like. As I've mentioned, this has not been a happy place for Andy Roddick. He would like these conditions. It's hot, it's dry, the ball is flying. And he did play well in Madrid. Would have given him a little bit of confidence on the clay. So, good to see an American winning comfortably on the clay. Been a top 10 player for a lot of years now, Andy Roddick. Real quality. Never made his mark at Roland Garros. You can just see the shadows lengthening here at Phillipe Chatrier. 5 to 7 in the evening.
It's been another hot day out here, hasn't it?
It's been a cracker. Last year here, the first 2 or 3 days were about 10 degrees. Weather was coming from completely the opposite direction.
It's certainly not the case. I think yesterday got up to about 28. Today not too far off, slightly cooler.
So Parmentier serving now, leading 2-1, third set. Look, that's the point I just love to see 9 times out of 10. Swinging serve and then a forehand. Now, as it was, she was in a bit of trouble here, but that's where the serve's got to be directed. Look at the forehand and look at the opportunities. And the ball just actually jumped on her a little bit there as she went to hit that forehand, but that's what she has to do. She has to open up the court for her forehand.
And on top of that, athletic ability and control at the net.
And there's the difference. There's the serve straight down the middle of the court, and that's what it got what it deserved, basically. 184 Ks right into the hitting zone of Bartoli. So I don't know what her coach is telling her. But he needs to take a good look at himself.
You're clearly not happy with him, are you?
No. There it is again. 184, straight down the middle of the court. No advantage. No, it's good play from Bartoli. But there's also, she had a short ball there on the forehand, Parmentier. Let's see if we see this in replay. this one here, and there's no awareness. I mean, if she holds that and just wrong foots Bartoli, she'll win that, well, 10 out of 10. No awareness. Bartoli had just guessed. She was just going backhand. But she's a good match player. She's hanging tough. Well, at least she went tee. I mean, she missed it, but it was a purposeful serve.
Play from Parmentier, a little bit lucky with the net cord, and was able to finish it off with the forehand. And probably right in saying that the second serve of Parmentier is more effective than her first serve, because when she does bang down the first serve, Bartoli's able to use that pace. I think Bartoli's a little bit more uncomfortable with the second serve.
Got some value there with the wrong footing forehand. And I think it's the height of the bounce on the second serve that Bartoli's uncomfortable with. We didn't see it there, but she's able to get the ball up well above shoulder height for Bartoli, and that's a problem.
There again, just seeing Parmentier forcing Bartoli to take a hand off the racket, and no pace on her shots when she has to do that.
That was 192, straight down the middle of the service box. It's generally quick, but unfortunately, one of the few double faults that she has served. That was 141. I'd love to see 150 out wide on the first serve.
Swing it out.
Keep your percentages high, about 70%. Just keep opening the court. Keep asking the question of Bartoli.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Bartoli.
You liking that, Wally?
It looked more like a key ring than a piece of jewellery, didn't it? I tell you, when she gets it right, I mean, that's a great 1-2 punch. When she constructs the points well, you think, gosh, her future is bright, and then she just loses her way sometimes.
And there the serve moving into the body of Bartoli.
Well, that was a genuine body serve, but I'm not sure she meant that. She just serves that many balls down the centre of the service box. And now that was a swinging serve. Just wide, unfortunately. Seeing that forehand in replay. Once again, height of the bounce, troubling Bartoli.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Parmentier.
You know, I'm looking down at the service box. In this backhand corner, there's a third of the court near the sideline that there's just not one mark there. There is no mark there. That left-hand third towards the sideline, she just doesn't use it. It's out of play.
Égalité.
You know, I've never seen... it's been a long time since I've seen someone play. It's almost like she's handicapped herself, Parmentier. The way that she plays, She's not playing to her strengths. It's almost like she's trying to make this outing even tougher than it is.
I mean, they're good use of the flat serve down the tee, but I think
Mademoiselle Parmentier.
particularly on this court against this opponent, that needs to be the occasional serve. Again, middle of that box.
Égalité.
And I guess possibly the tactic from her coach is to go straight at the body of Bartoli, but you do need a little bit of variety. That can be a good tactic, but not all the time.
It's just that it's unfortunate because she's got the pace and the spin though to take it wide and get it out of a hitting zone. Different if you don't have that quality serve.
Avantage, Mademoiselle Bartoli.
Really sounded like she cracked that racket there, but she's going to carry on. Might crumble in her hands if she hits a big forehand.
Well, if she was to change it, she'd pick up a bit of a fine.
Mademoiselle Bartoli.
2 errors in succession. Give Bartoli the break back, and at the moment, serve is almost a liability.
Must have been very close.
15-0.
Again, a few more unforced errors from Parmentier coming into play. Garros.
Well, she's an enigmatic player, Parmentier. The previous return was pretty straightforward, and she just dumped a backhand in the bottom of the net, and that was a quality serve, and she cracked that for a winner. Never quite know what you're going to get. Well, I think she was exhausted. She'd been pushed all over the court there, Parmentier, got the easy ball and dumped it in the net. So Bartoli hangs on for a 3-2 lead here in the third set. Bit of sustenance there for Bartoli. Well, for you tennis experts out there, just how well do you know your players? We're going to have a mystery guest here, but there is a trick. His face is obscured. See if you can guess the player. Get an opportunity tomorrow when all will be revealed. The racket and the outfit are a little bit of a giveaway. Find out tomorrow. Do you know who that was, Lucy? Do you think you know? You do.
I think it's one of the top females.
Don't confuse our viewers.
Reprise.
And here's Bartoli in slow motion. Unorthodox but effective. That's a forehand wing, bottom of, so the serving hand is at the bottom of the racket. Makes for an awkward double-hander, but she's pretty effective. Unusual takeaways, everything about her is unorthodox. But she has a great ability to find the middle of the racket. Parmentier serving, trailing 2-3.
It's amazing how many times the momentum's shifted in this match. Not that long ago, Parmentier had points to lead 3-1 in this set, final set.
I think you're right. I think Pauline's coach has told her to serve body to try to take away the effectiveness of the return of Bartoli so she can't create any angles. But I think he forgot to realise that she's a girl that can serve at around 190 kilometres an hour. So the wings are beckoning, but she just hasn't used them whatsoever. It's a pretty good rule of thumb, too, to change a losing game. So she should be thinking on her feet and doing things a little differently.
I think particularly after that second set and also right now.
Fortunate net cord there. Took all the pace off the ball, didn't carry
15-30.
to Bartoli, who was in a very defensive position.
Remise.
Once again, the awareness. She had the slow ball. She had all the time in the world. Bartoli had guessed. Picked a side, basically. She was off and running well before Parmentier made contact, but there's no court awareness there. Out of the corner of your eye, you've got to get your racket back early, hold the backswing, just a little pause, just get some idea which way your opponent's going.
Mademoiselle Bartoli.
Well, it's a classic case, isn't it? You've got a good tennis player
Mademoiselle Bartoli mène
in Marion Bartoli playing a good athlete and a good hitter of the tennis ball, but really, Pauline Parmentier has lost her way. So many opportunities in this point to put an end to things.
No, she's
The option she takes.
looking a little bit tired now.
She
She's
is,
done
isn't
a
she?
lot of running. Guess probably mentally and physically. She knows she's had a lot of opportunities out here.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think physically she has dropped off a little bit over the last couple of games. She hasn't controlled proceedings since the first set, Parmentier, and it's taken its toll.
You've got to hand it to Bartoli. She's hung in this match. Certainly hasn't been on top form. But here looking to move forward. And then easily picking off the volley. See, just keeping our eye on the ball, controlling it cross court.
He's a doctor, is he?
Dr. Walter. I'm not sure a doctor in...
Doctor of medicine? Doctor of philosophy?
I'm not sure. Doctor of the serve.
Hmm. Very casual, courtside. I wonder if she knows her feet are on international television.
Famous feet now.
Clench of the fist there. And Bartoli, you get the feeling she's done the hard work now. Definitely in the ascendancy, leads 5-2, third set. Perfect weather here today at Roland Garros. Plenty of matches, and there's top there, the women's singles. Dinara Safina too strong for Anne Kyothevong. Sugiyama down to Rezai. Good win for the Frenchwoman. And Chavet through in straight set. She's a talented player from Hungary. And Kirsten Plipkins over Ferretz. Klybanova, seeded player, losing 6-1 in the third. And Battle of the Veterans, Tanner Sagan over Camille Pan. Zhe Zheng, comfortable winner. Venus Williams didn't have it all her own way, 6-2 in the third against Bethany Matek-Sands. More first-round singles results. Carla Suarez Navarro, who really gave notice of her skills here last year. Number 22 seed, a very good clay court player, comfortably through in straight sets. And British player, Melanie South, unfortunately losing 7-5 in the third. 7-5 in the third, I should say. Katie O'Brien, another English player, down 6-1, 6-1. Sybil Kova, another well-credentialed clay court player, winning 6-4 over Alona Bondarenko, one of the sisters from the Ukraine. And there's the big upset. Flavia Pennetta, the number 14 seed, down 6-1, 6-1 to Californian teenager Alexa Glatch. Parmentier now serving to stay in this, trailing 2-5. And maybe now that it seems a lost cause, maybe she can just kind of relax and play some of the good tennis that we saw earlier on.
Yeah, I mean, this is again how she was looking to play, looking to use that forehand. Just feel it's maybe a little bit too late now. Better play there, good movement around the ball.
40-15.
Again, showing us the ability that she has got. Here she takes Bartoli out of the court, and then see the space she opens up.
Mademoiselle Parmentier.
So she's hanging in there.
Mademoiselle Bartoli mène 5 jeux à 3.
She'll enjoy that one.
0-5. 0-15.
Well, it had everything, didn't it? She slipped, mishit it, and she got the net cord. Triple threat. How often do you see this, though, when a player is kind of down and out? They just relax a little bit. Well, that's accurate there from Bartoli.
15.
And even though she's been outplayed, really, over the last hour and 20 minutes, Parmentier, the nature of tennis is that she's not that far out of it. Just a couple of well-struck shots at the right time. She's right back in this match, if she still believes.
It's always the big thing, though, isn't it? The belief.
Well, it's unfortunate, and I think you're right. I think the fact that she hasn't won a lot of matches on tour so far this year has ultimately led to her downfall out here, just lost her way, and that lack of confidence really showed at times.
Merci.
So after 2 hours, Bartoli finds herself at match point. Well done. 13th seed struggled early. 22 unforced errors in that first set, but found a way, and no question in my mind, Lucy, she has the better tennis brain, Marion Bartoli.
No, I mean, credit to her. She certainly didn't play anywhere near the type of tennis she would have liked to, but she got through the match. Parmentier, a lot of opportunities there. Points for 3-1. A 3-1 lead in the third